It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
Well, good morning to you, race fans, and welcome to the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Fast-paced, white-knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs. Get over to Joe's Karting today. Do yourself right with a little indoor kart racing. And Dirk, it's great to finally say that we are in race season. We've had action all week at Daytona for all the clashes and the speed weeks, and the dirt races have been going on. The Arizona mod tours in full swing. A lot of guys in the area down there racing that. And we've got the 500 going on today. You can head over to Joe's Karting when they open up this morning, and you can do a little bit of indoor kart racing. Bring your race receipt over to Quaker Steak and Lube for the Daytona 500 viewing party, and you can get 10% off of your bill. Big show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's happened at Daytona as of Thursday this week, because everyone knows we recorded a little bit early to get the show ready to go Sunday morning. And then in turn number 2, we're going to talk with Buddy Ray Jones about the parts store inside Joe's Karting and his plans for racing in 2019. Turn number 3, Landon Cassill, who's going to be driving the 00 Chevy ZL1, sponsored by Permatex, today at the Daytona 500. We'll talk to Landon about his plans for the year and maybe even some kind of outside stuff he might be doing for outside of StarCom Racing in that 00 car. And then in turn number 4, it's going to be a real quick and easy one like we've been doing a lot lately, just going to get you set for today's race at the Daytona 500. Got to start off, we lost another racing area, a famous racer in the area. Obviously, back in the Sunset days, I never got to see him race, but Teddy Brown passed away earlier this week.
Yeah, he was weekly competitor for many years, and pretty decent guy. I never had any, run-ins with him or never threatened me or anything like that when I'd tech his race car. So I always got along with those guys. But yeah, another guy that's going to be missed, and our condolences go out to his family and friends.
Absolutely. Got to say a big thank you to everybody that's supporting the show. Between Red Oak Fabrication bringing us all of our interviews, and a new sponsor coming on board for the next couple of weeks as they're promoting their big open house starting next Monday. It's going to be Hoosier Great Plains. Excuse me, I keep saying that wrong. Hoosier Tire Great Plains and Precise Racing Products in Bennington, Nebraska. They're going to have a big open house going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Open up till 6 o'clock Monday through Thursday. Friday they're going to stay open until 9 o'clock, and then Saturday they're going to be up in extended hours till 4 o'clock. A lot of great specials, a lot of great things going on. If you're a racer and you want to save some money building your car, be it sprint cars, late models, head over to Precise Racing Products Open House February 25th through March 2nd. We're going to be there on Saturday, March 2nd, doing a bunch of interviews and appearances and getting ready for the race season.
We're going to do a bunch of appearances on one day?
Yeah.
Cool.
We're going to flash in and out. I don't know. I've had too much talking already today, and I'm starting to get a little scatterbrained. But a lot of drivers are going to come by. We're going to confirm that list on Facebook coming up in the next 4 or 5 days as we get drivers. But the plan is we're going to get there at about 9 o'clock on Saturday morning when they open up, and we're going to sit down at a booth, and we're just going to bring in all the sprint car drivers that we know of, that we know you guys want to hear from, find out what their plans are for the year, and then we'll play those back in coming interviews in coming weeks. But that day on Saturday, what's in it for you fans is that you're going to get the opportunity to come out and meet and greet with them. Shaylee Bade was one of them that was going to join us last year, but because of a snowstorm that hit, she wasn't able to make it down. I know Jack Dover's confirmed he's going to come, Tyler Drucke, Cody Ledger, a lot of guys and gals that are going to come by from the sprint car world that are going to do interviews with us, and then they're going to be available afterwards to sign autographs and just kind of hang out and talk with fans.
Yeah, and obviously the open house is going to go regardless, but our drivers showing up does depend on the weather. So
right.
A lot of them coming from out of town. So
get more information at the Hoosier Tire Great Plains Precise Racing Products Open House on their website, preciseracingproducts.com, or follow them on Facebook. All right, like we talked about for today's show, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the stuff we saw so far in the week. Unfortunately, we recorded before the clashes, so we can't get you that information. But the big one that I wanted to talk about, and what drives media today, is that there was a big thing that happened on Sunday, and a lot of people got to talk about it Monday through Thursday. And it was about the Jimmie Johnson move on Paul Menard. A lot of things went around Facebook. Should Jimmie have been penalized? Was it a bad move, dirty move? Dirk, I kind of want to get your thoughts on what you saw.
Penalized, no. but every driver at that level, even close to that, the truck series on up, knows that left rear is a no-no zone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't play there.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmie did, and Paul paid the price, and a few others.
Yeah, a lot of other guys paid the price. I give
penalized for that, no.
I give Jimmie credit. I don't think he did it on purpose. I think that he just simply, they're going so fast, and we're talking about 2-3 inches of difference here. If he's able to hold that car a little bit more steady and not come over into Paul Menard like he did, he's side drafting like he is attempting to do. I think that's what Jimmie was trying to do. He was trying to side draft, and the car just sucked into Paul Menard. We don't know what there's variables that we don't know as fans that only drivers know, and really only Jimmie knows what happened to that car. I don't think in any way it was malicious. If it was, then I would be more of a fan of a penalty. If you could tell Jimmie Johnson wrecked him on purpose, and the only way I'd really be in favor of that is years ago at Talladega when you could see the in-car camera of Carl Edwards' hands turn the wheel towards Brad Keselowski. Pretty apparent on a straightaway, he turned the wheel to go right into him. That's kind of one of those cut and dries. You got to get penalized for that because that was a malicious act. For Jimmie, I don't think he meant to do it. I sure don't think he meant to do it, and so I don't think a penalty should have happened. It was a mistake. Whether you've never won a race in NASCAR Cup Series before or you've won 7 championships, that was a mistake. They happen to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he just, at that speed, close to 200 miles an hour where they were at on the track, just a little bit of a wind gust or just about anything when he pulled out from behind Menard's car could have caused that. And it could have been intentional, but maybe he got a little too much. He might have just wanted to loosen him up a little bit so he could get around him. But
I remember watching Tony Stewart do this a few years ago, and I believe it was at Talladega. It may have been at Daytona, so I apologize. My memory's never the greatest thing to rely on. But watching Tony, they were single file, and he would side draft somebody, suck up next to him, and then tuck in and pass him. And then tuck in. And he picked up 5 or 6 spots like that. And he was the first driver that really stuck out to me. Maybe it was because he was my favorite driver at the time. But he was the first one I saw really master that side draft where you get a run and then you pull out to the side that quarter panel and it pulls the air off of that spoiler. And so the car just slows down like 5-6 miles an hour. And then he's able to carry his momentum and get by him, tuck back into line, get back into the draft, and pick his speed back up. It's a great move. And I think, and we've seen that a lot the last couple of years, especially with double file as we're getting more into that with NASCAR's rules, making it more single and double lanes. But yeah, it goes back to it. I don't think it was malicious. I think it was just a simple mistake. And you can't penalize for mistakes.
Nope. And a little closer to home and dirt world type stuff is Scott Bloomquist lost his crew chief in Volusia County. Scott's
made a lot of news the last week and a half, and I don't think he wanted to be in the news for any of it.
Yeah, and part of it was his own doing. He just didn't realize, the first deal where he got a suspension and whatnot just because he left the track. He didn't think that was that big a deal. But having your crew chief suspended and being held, $92,000 behind in child support. So that's what they posted his bail at.
Wow.
So it looks like Scott's going to have to holler at some sponsors or find a new crew chief. Yeah. I don't know what she's going to do, but that's way behind in your child support, folks. That's not missing 1 or 2 payments.
Right. It's I'd be interested to find out what that crew chief's responsibility is on that car, because when you think about Scott Bloomquist, he's the mastermind that's setting the car up, making the changes. A crew chief on that level is going to have some influence. I'd be interested to find out, when you've got a crew chief for Scott Bloomquist, how much influence do you have when you've got a guy like Scott Bloomquist that's had 40, 50 years of experience, as opposed to somebody like a Hudson O'Neal that pretty young, he's talented, so a crew chief probably has more influence as to what needs to happen.
Well, I know Hudson O'Neal does his shocks because when I saw him in St. Louis, he had a shock on the dyno and was working that. I don't know if Scott does his own. Old school racers wouldn't be into that much technology. Mm-hmm. It might be his shock guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I know Scott grinds his own tires.
Yeah.
Seen him doing it.
Coming back to Daytona, I wanted to talk a little bit about this before we ended up wrapping up turn number 1 and getting over to Buddy Ray in turn number 2. But Hendrick Motorsports qualifying the first 4 positions. You have this habit of saying, Chevy's back. Hendrick Motorsports is back because they qualified all 4 of their cars up front. That's a great sign. But then you stop and say, a lot of drivers will tell you under their breath, the real NASCAR season starts next weekend at Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of always been the thought. It's such a crapshoot. It's a restrictor plate race type deal, so...
I'm in the boat of that's great. It does show progress, but I want to see what they do over the next 3 or 4 weeks on that Atlanta and then the West Coast swing, because that's going to be the true test to what they've done in the offseason and what they could do for the rest of the season.
Yeah, get a few different size tracks on there, not just a speedway.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Buddy Ray Jones, operations manager at Joe's Karting, and the operations manager for the Joe's Karting Parts Store is going to join us. Landon Cassill, driver of the 00 StarCom Chevy, sponsored by Permatex today, is going to be joining us in turn number 3. And then we'll talk about the Daytona 500 party and get you set for the Pick'ems contest coming up in turn number 4. We'll be back.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
Racers all over the country are discovering the benefits of powder coating their chassis. Powder coating offers a clean, even finish you will be proud to show off to fans and sponsors. Plus, it's a more durable surface. While looking beautiful, powder coating offers superior protection against corrosive chemicals typically spilled during routine maintenance. Bare frames start at $275 with estimates available if blasting or reworking is needed. Get your quote today by emailing Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com or by calling 712-623-4911.
Drivers, start your engines.
The race season is just around the corner, and Hoosier Tire Great Plains Precise Racing Products is helping you save big with their open house February 25th to March 2nd. They've created some exclusive open house specials, like 4x10 sheets of sheet metal for $64.99 each. Schaefer's Racing Oil 15% off, 10% off all Dirt Defenders mud covers. Bassett wheels starting at $59.99. NGK plugs just $15 for 2 boxes. Great savings on racing optics, G-Force helmets and suits, plus doorbuster prizes each day. Be in store or watching on Facebook Live Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. for a chance to win a $100 gift card. Be in store Friday so you can win a free Oakley t-shirt, or on Saturday for your chance to win fuel jugs, Oakley t-shirts, tires, and so much more. Follow the Hoosier Tire Great Plains Precise Racing Facebook page. Shop online at preciseracing.com or shop in person at the Bennington store. The 2019 Open House, your chance to save big on your race budget.
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn number 2. Time to talk to a local dirt racer and a parts store supplier. Big supporter of the show, Buddy Ray Jones, driver of the number 25 Sport Mod, and operations manager at Joe's Karting, and operations manager, general manager, president, CEO, secretary, all
CEO.
the above at the Joe's Karting.
I wear a lot of hats,
Yeah.
and I don't know what a single hat is entitled. I don't know what you call it.
At the Joe's Karting Parts Store. This interview brought to you by Red Oak Fabrication, offering powder coating at an affordable price. Get your bare chassis powder coated for just $275. That's for the bare frame. You can get reworking and sandblasting done for just a little bit more, but there's going to be some extra estimates in there. So give Jordan a call, 712-623-4911, or email him, jordanf@redoakfabrication.com.
How much did you say the powder coat was for a chassis?
Bare frame, $275.
Folks, that's cheap.
That's a good price. And Josh Mose is a big proponent of it. He takes his chassis down there, and he's been running
Yeah,
a lot
I bet
of
he would.
lot of Edge chassis. They're built right there in Red Oak, Iowa, and he runs them down the road. And Jordan tries to turn them around in 24 to 48 hours, especially right now when there's not a lot of powder coating going on. So he's able to get that stuff turned around pretty quickly. And I was talking to Jordan about it. I said, I know a couple of sprint car guys that went up to Des Moines and had theirs powder coated for $475 each.
My Sport Mod was $550 or $600 by itself, just for plain black.
Was it bare, or did it need to have sandblasting to it?
It was bare and ready to go.
That would have been.
And I'm like, wow, for how much? Say that again.
$275.
That's almost too good to be true.
I know. And powder coating is a great deal. It's corrosive resistant, so when you spill brake fluid or gasoline on it when you're doing your regular maintenance, it's not going to eat away at the paint, and you're not going to have a bare frame when you're sitting out at your car show later on in the year. It's much more durable, and boy, does it look pretty.
It looks
It looks
pretty.
gorgeous when you powder coat
Yep.
that. Jordan F. at RedHawkFabrication.com. Give him a call, 623-4911. That's 712-623-4911. Buddy, it's been a long time since you've been on the show. You got a lot of
Long
things
time.
to talk about. You've actually got a list.
I actually took notes.
How long do you think it's going to be till we get off track?
Actually, it's all the same stuff. So
Just repeated.
yeah.
Let's make this look.
Well, I'm simple-minded, you know.
Race, parts.
Repeat. And that's really in real life. That's almost how it is. Race.
Yeah.
I need parts. Repeat the next week.
Let's start with the parts store. You guys opened it up just about, 10, 11 months ago.
I'm
It was
gonna-
about March last year?
Actually, it's coming up on our 1 year. I would say officially March is when we opened it up. Business has been doing, really, really well. We're not out here to try to put anybody out of business or take business away from anybody. We're just trying to, you might be going to your local parts supplier, but it's, 9:30, 8 o'clock at night, and you're like, oh, wow, I forgot a box of rivets.
Right.
Come see us. We got the rivets. We're open until 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been huge. That's been a huge advantage for the racers. Anybody that knows me knows I live about a mile away from the track, so I'm constantly going down to the track to make sure the guys have their stuff, and and they appreciate that. So I don't think any part supplier around here has bad customer service per se. I think we all have our strengths and weaknesses. Everybody's doing the right thing to serve the racer.
Mm-hmm.
But when I have a ton of the local racing community, as you know, hanging out inside Joe's, hey, why not give them a late night advantage? So the one thing I really want to focus on, though, is letting the racers know that we have a phone number for the counter there.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. So me and Tracy Weber, everybody knows Tracy Weber. He's been racing since the Flintstone days. We get reached out to on social media a lot. A lot of Facebook Messenger, a lot of emails. Well, not so much the email, but Messenger or our phone numbers. But our number on the counter is 712-256-3075. And Tracy is sitting there usually Monday through Friday from 3 to 5, 3 to 6, doing inventory, looking up parts, stuff like that. And he's like, I really wish our phone would ring. So if anybody's out there, I don't care if you call him up and say, hey, how's it going, Tracy? Call this number, 712-256-3075, and ask for Tracy Weber. So
Now, is that the regular Joe's Karting line, or is that a dedicated parts store
that is dedicated to the parts store. And then you ought to understand that, my simple mind maybe came up with the email. Guess how easy the email is? racingparts@joeskarting.com.
That'll do it.
I'm
Gotta
thinking
keep it
that's
easy.
simple.
Gotta
Very,
keep it
very
easy.
simple. Now, big news since last year, a lot of big news. When we opened up the parts store, we had one or two suppliers. We're talking maybe 700 product lines. So you figure 1,000, part number SKUs per product line, you're talking about 700,000, different parts. We went to the PRI show, and you know how well I like to talk to people. Well, after the PRI show, we now have 10 to 12, maybe 13 part suppliers.
Wow.
Now you're talking millions of SKUs and part numbers. I was telling you the other day on the phone, I had a guy come in. He wanted a Tremec 5-speed transmission for an 02 Pontiac Trans Am. And he's like, well, I heard you could get just about anything. And I ended up finding it, and I got it for him for a very affordable, very competitive price. Clutch, pressure plate, throw-out bearing, the transmission, the whole ball of wax. Took me about 3 days to get it all shipped into Joe's, but I got it all there. He couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
And I was doing this at 7, 8 o'clock at night. It took me about, I'm going to guess 2 or 3 hours to put the whole deal together. But from the time he walked in to the time he got his parts, it was about 3 or 4 days. And I don't know anybody in Omaha that's just stocking and this wasn't a stock Tremec 5-speed.
Yeah.
This was made specifically for high-end, high-dollar drag cars, so it had a lot of massive rework. I don't see a lot of those, sitting on your Walmart shelf somewhere.
That's a tough part to find.
It's a tough part.
And probably a finicky one that like you said, you got to make sure you get the exact perfect model. Otherwise, he's bringing it back with.
Well, yes, so there's some give and take there. If somebody walked up to you, Dan, said, hey, look, I need a bronze line double shear bird cage for a late model, you might look at them and go, a what? So the more descriptive you are on your part, or even better, if you have a part number, give that to me or Tracy, and we can very easily usually within a few minutes, if not maybe an hour at the tops, we can look it up. And here's the nice thing. We also drop ship. So even if you call me on the phone or you get a hold of me on Facebook Messenger, like, but I don't have time to run by Joe's, I don't care. Pay me over the phone. I'll ship it to your house. Not a big deal. I do that a lot, especially with the Kansas racers. And when I say racers, it's not just circle track. We've got street racers, even the illegal street racing community. Yeah, they're illegal, but you know what? At the end of the day, their money's just as green as mine. I'm not gonna lie.
Sometimes it's cash.
A lot of times it's cash. A lot of 20s in that stack. I've seen it. But I deal with those guys. Obviously, circle track. Tracy Weber's very knowledgeable in the drag racing and circle track, and he's older than I am, and he's a pretty smart fellow with the stuff, so I lean on him quite a bit. If I'm not for sure about something, I'll be like, Tracy, what do you think of this? And he's really good. Back in the 80s, Tom Gutowski had Fast Lane Performance here in Omaha. Tracy Weber was a parts guy at that parts store.
Really?
So, how long do you think he's been around this game?
That's good.
Yeah, he's got some experience. He's got some firepower.
He's got a little gray hair, too.
Yep.
What hair he has left.
Well, what hair he's got left. It depends on what I'm doing with him that day, as if he's got more or less gray hair.
Well, I think he had a little bit too tight of a helmet for a couple of years there.
That would explain why. Well, that would explain why his head's like narrower than the average person. I mean,
he's got a little upside down pear going on.
The one thing a lot of the street racers, actually, I've got go-karters, normal people on street, which I would not have imagined this, but even normal people on the street, regular people, we sell VP and Sunoco fuel. We haven't sold any Sunoco fuel. I am an authorized dealer for both, but we primarily focus on the VP fuel. We sell an awful lot of the VP 110, 112, 114. We can sell it by the 5-gallon pail. We can sell it by the barrel, or hey, bring your 5-gallon bucket over and we'll just, pump it into your deal. And we're pretty competitive on the price. We try to keep our prices low. I mean, obviously we got to make some profit there to keep the doors open, but we try to keep it, pretty competitive, keep the cost down a little bit. So
Sunoco fuel and VP fuel, really, it's just there's not much of a difference there, correct?
No,
it's just that Sunoco.
No, there's a lot of difference there, and when it comes to the fuel, the one thing I've learned about parts, guys are very brand loyal on their fuel. You get a guy that's been running VP for 5 years, you ain't getting them to switch to Sunoco. And there's a lot of really good fuels out there, both VP and Sunoco. Don't ask me which one's better because I don't own anything nice enough to run either one of those things.
It's probably like Mobil 1 and Pennzoil.
It is.
They're going to do the same thing. They've got a little bit different of a process getting there, and then like you talked about the brand
in my
loyalty.
experience, what I've seen, and I could be wrong, so don't etch this in stone, but when I look at my VP line, I have a lot more accessibility to a lot of different. I think in the VP line, I have access to 30 different fuels.
Wow.
Sunoco, I've got maybe 4 or 5. And really, of the 4 or 5, I'm only focused on 2. The VP, I've got a 2-page spreadsheet that would blow your mind, Dan.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, I didn't know this existed. I mean, when I got with my supplier, I'm like, he gave me a pamphlet, and I'm like, whoa, you want me to read this? I just like the pretty blue barrels in the pictures.
Yeah.
But, there's oxygenated fuel, non-oxygenated fuel, alcohol, methanol, like in your AMOD and your. Did you know that VP sells 3 different varieties of methanol?
Not a clue.
I would not have known that. I thought methanol was methanol. Nope. But I've never owned anything that's ran methanol. I've never had a need for it, so I didn't really research it. But, I sell, quite a bit of methanol.
And it probably helps that the individual tracks and sanctioning bodies rules for the different classes, because what you put in your sport mod fuel is a lot different than what you put in your stock car.
Yep.
And if somebody comes in and tries to buy one tank for both, you can go, hey, you're going to get teched and DQ'd for that.
It's funny you mentioned the rules. This is something I take a lot of pride with Tracy Weber and myself. A lot of guys, let's be honest, racing's racing. There's going to be some folks that are trying to bend the rules or quote-unquote cheat.
No.
Yeah, right? So somebody who comes up and like, well, I want to run this on my car. Well, we already know who you are. We might even race against you. You can't run that.
Yeah.
They're like, does it matter? I want to buy it. Yeah, it matters. We're not going to openly just let you flagrantly cheat the crowd or cheat us or whatever. Here's the rules. Here's what's allowed. Here's your options. At the end of the day, if you're really going to throw $500 and $100 bills at my face, I might sell you a part. But for the most part, we try to keep, steer guys clear from.
Keep them from making a mistake. Because that's what we're
keep
all
it
talking
honest.
about. No one ever cheats. They make a mistake, or the track changed the rules and never told anybody.
You know how many mistakes I've made?
Or they're out to get me.
I made a lot of mistakes.
Parts store's doing great, but like you kind of talked about, I think we talked about on the phone the other day, not just for racers. You can get over the counter parts.
Well, yeah. So last time I knew, you had a Ford Ranger, and then you went to a Chevy S10 Colorado. Mm-hmm. You want bug visors for your Colorado? Mm-hmm. I can get them. You want WeatherTech floor mats? WeatherTech, you come over and I can look at some WeatherTech stuff. There's some neat stuff with WeatherTech that they're making with cup holders and floor mats and stuff. I can get them. Mm-hmm. You want cylinder heads for your Chevelle sitting in the garage? I can get them. I can even get crate engines. I can get. Me and Tracy were slobbering at the mouth one day. We looked at a 720-horse Chevy motor, complete, for like $11,000, I think. And I'm like, boy, what could we put this in? Which immediately we looked over in the pits and like, put a 720-horse motor on a go-kart at Joe's.
You'd burn those tires off so fast.
But it'd be so fun.
I wonder what Rich, the owner of Joe's Karting, would say about that. Hey, buddy, what's this?
Well, yeah.
Don't worry, it's experimental.
Now, you ever heard of Rock Auto?
Yeah.
Okay, the company that supplies Rock Auto now supplies us on our parts counter. So go look at Rock Auto. Look at all the different stuff that you can get on Rock Auto across all cars. So we can even get stuff for your daily car. Now, granted, and it's not that I'm ordering from Rock Auto. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. It's the company that supplies Rock Auto. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to lie, I'm probably not going to see Rock Auto's prices.
Right, they've got a volume that they get a discount.
Yeah. When I was down at the PRI show, they were telling me, the company that supplies them, they were telling me that Rock Auto does something like $500,000 a day.
Jesus.
A day, 7 days a week. 365 days a year.
That's crazy.
So what do you think their volume pricing is?
They're going to get a little bit of a discount.
Yeah.
But you're able to get the same parts that you can find on Rock Auto.
I can get the same part, and it's not much more than Rock Auto pricing, but at least you're doing your business local, and there might be a few days shipping, or not shipping, or there may be shipping, but either way, I can get it. So I'm beginning to seriously believe that there's nothing I can't find. Yeah. I can get sprint car chassis. I've seen the AFCO modified stubs that they make the stubs for the modifieds and the sport mods. I can get those. Hoosier tires. I can get tires. I can get wheels, Dick Seepick stuff. I mean, it's mind-blowing if you could see what I could get. I bet you I have 30, 40 catalogs, and it's all available right here, right now.
That's awesome.
We just want people to come in and see Tracy Weber and I. Like I said, and Tracy, he's a really down-to-earth good guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's an awesome guy to deal with. He kind of reminds me of Festus off Gunsmoke, though. If you look at his Facebook, he's Festus from Gunsmoke.
He is.
He is. You can't deny it.
Yeah.
I love him to death. Great guy, smart guy. So, yeah.
Karting track doing well, too?
Yeah, karting, the track's doing really, really good. We will, while I'm here, because I'm only here, once a year on the show. The Racing with the Stars, big news coming down the line.
Okay.
I am not running the Racing with the Racing with the Stars will happen in 2019.
Yeah.
I am not in charge of it.
Okay. Who's taking over it then?
Sport Mod Racers, Jeff Brunson and Josh Blum with their wives.
Okay.
And so it'll probably be a lot of the same things that we're doing now.
Yeah.
They're just, I've got so much on my plate right now that they're like, Bud, you need to take a break and step back a little bit, and
still going to be at Joe's Karting?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be at the Joe's Karting, probably the same format, the same thing. It's not like it's going to be some big, massive change-up, because that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same all, but...
They're going to keep it the same for probably a year or two, and then maybe start sprinkling their little bit of their own flavor.
No, we're pretty conservative in our thought, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we've been running the same thing, the same format for 4 or 5 years. The only thing that they did do this year was when we did the driver introductions at the Racing with the Stars, they said, look, for 2019, Buddy Ray's going to be the first honorary celebrity, and I kind of looked at him like, what? Okay. So, but yeah, Joe's is doing really, really good. Definitely come out. This is the time of the year. We've got a lot of dirt racers, a lot of big famous people that drive dirt cars hanging out in there. The kids love hanging out with the dirt racers. You see your Jack Dovers, your Andrew Kaziskis,
Shaylee Bade.
Shaylee Bade was just in there 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, they did a Bade Racing get-together.
March 2nd. We're putting together an Adams County Speedway show there.
Oh, fun.
I can't release the details, but the general public, fans, crew members, officials, you're all allowed to show up and race against the Adams County Speedway racers.
Cool.
I'll have some more info that hopefully I can get to you here in the next few weeks, but it's March 2nd for sure. I know that about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Just watch the Joe's Karting website on our group events calendar. It should have the format there.
Is that Friday?
Saturday.
Saturday, okay.
Yep, it's going to be a Saturday, so that's going really, really well. As far as racing for myself, don't know what I'm doing. My 15-year-old son wants to jump in the car a few times this year.
Mm-hmm.
My 24-year-old stepson, I consider both of them my sons, so both of my sons want to jump in the car, and I've been around long enough and done enough that I'm kind of like, okay, let's see what you guys think. If you guys want to do it, maybe we'll pursue something. If you don't, I might just retire. But either way, I'll drive some this year. I don't know where. I am thinking about, you're going to laugh at this, instead of touring, I might run weekly just because I just want a much smaller schedule.
Yeah.
With what's on my plate, and at the end of 2019, we'll see what we're going to do for 2020, or I might just retire. I mean, this is going to be my 26th year doing it, and I love the sport. It's been really, really good to me. I've made some incredible, long-lasting, lifelong friends. I love watching all the racers. I love watching these 14, 15-year-old kids come into the sport, whether it be a sport compact or a go-kart, and watching them mature. I remember when Jordan Grabowski wasn't in A-Mods. You may not remember that.
No, as long as I've been a fan of the sport, he's been A-Mod.
Yeah, so I've seen him grow, and I love watching guys like Jordan Grabowski grow. Kids like Dylan Smith. I like watching those guys.
Kids.
These
kids.
I'm almost twice his age.
I think I am older than Jordan. I think he's 32.
32.
Yeah, and I think Dylan's probably 34.
I thought Dylan was younger than that.
Maybe. Anyways.
I don't know. I'm a lot older than them.
But if you do retire, though, it's not like you're going to disappear from the sport. You're going to continue to be very involved with it, with sponsorships and helping other drivers. And
hypothetically, even if I walked away from the sport, I still couldn't walk away from the sport because I'm still running Joe's.
Right.
So guess who's hanging out inside Joe's?
Right.
All the drivers. And it's funny, some of the local drivers are like, Bud, you're kind of the Rolodex of racing around here. You know who's doing what, and so what's so-and-so doing with this modified? I don't know. I'm not hanging out in his garage. Honestly, if you look at my Facebook, you would be shocked. I don't even follow many racers. I'm still friends with a lot of them, but I don't follow a lot of people's stuff. I'm more of the I watch or not watch, but I listen to a lot of political talk radio now.
Oh, that's too bad.
I enjoy watching my birds eat out of my bird feeder, drinking my glass of water, and looking at my golden doodle pages, and everybody's like, "My God, how old are you getting?" I'm just, it is what it is. But
is the sport mark coming along? Is it done? Okay.
Nope.
Do you have a race penciled in that you would like to get to as your first race this year? Spring Meltdown, the Beatrice Spring Nationals, Icebreaker Challenge, Charlie Clark, Cornhusker Classic. Is that going to be your first race?
I don't know. We don't even have the entire body off the car yet.
I know. Hey, if you need some parts, I know a guy.
I know a guy, right? Yeah. But with the parts counter, I just want to reiterate. Even we have people that literally come in. They may not necessarily buy parts that first time, but they come in. They look through our catalogs. They do price out some things. And they generally normally come back. Just come and hang out, say hi. We just had the managers from the new drag strip up in Ottawa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just the other day inside Joe's. We sat down, talked to them. They were blown away. They're like, "Oh, so you can do this and this." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll work with you." Tracy and I, we want to make sure everybody's happy, And so, just come in, say hi, get to meet Tracy and I, and we'll see what we can do for you. So,
is there a dedicated website or just joeskarting.com?
It's go to joeskarting.com. We are making a website. It's not active yet. It is in the plans, but if you go to joeskarting.com, you'll look on your I don't think it works on the cell phone. Your iPhone or Android platform, you'll have to go to the desktop. There's a link in the upper right-hand corner that says Racing Parts, and then it's a general email for now. But we are planning on having a active website where you can buy product online too, and it just gets drop shipped to your house.
Let's get Tracy a little bit of entertainment. 712-256-3075. Even if you don't want a part, just call and talk to the guy.
I tell you what, just to make sure somebody does this, here's what I want you to do. Call 712-256-3075. Ask for Tracy Weber. When you talk to Tracy Weber, just to make sure somebody's listening to us, ask him how much the price is on a flux capacitor.
Okay.
Because I know he will laugh and joke about that, and he doesn't know I'm on the show. But then email me, buddyj@joeskarting.com with your name.
Yeah.
And I'll give you 3 free races to Joe's.
Hey, there you go. So just call him and ask him how much for a flux capacitor. Do you want a certain year? Should we say the DeLorean, or should we just leave it as the flux capacitor?
88 DeLorean.
Okay, 88 DeLorean. Perfect. 88. I like that. All right. So, and then email, buddy. Should you email him what Tracy said, like an answer?
Yeah, just email me at buddyj@joeskarting.com. Just tell me what your name is, and then once I find you in our system, I can just put 3 free races. But everybody call Tracy Weber and say hi or get a hold of me. A lot of times Tracy's just sitting there drinking a coffee, twiddling his thumbs, looking at pricing and doing inventory. So he gets kind of lonely sometimes there at the parts counter. So
I bet, buddy. I always do love having you on the show.
Yep, no
Thanks
problem.
So much
Thanks for letting me
we got 25 minutes. I got to cut down to 15 somehow. Classic example of Buddy coming on the show. We're going to take a break. Landon Cassill, driver of the 00 StarCom Chevy ZL1, sponsored by Permatex, is going to be on the show next. Then we're going to wrap it all up by talking about the Daytona 500 party at Quaker Steak and Lube. Don't forget, if you go over to Joe's Karting and do some racing, take your race receipt over to Quaker Steak and Lube for today's Daytona 500. You're going to get 10% off your bill. We'll be back on the front stretch.
Finding a home can be the most important decision in your life. It's the simple factors of neighborhood, garage size, the school district, and commute that get overlooked by most realtors. Those are the aspects that Jim Blazina has been focusing on since 1988. From rental properties to your forever home, the Racing Realtor will work hard to get you exactly what you're looking for, and he can help list your home for a speedy sale. Contact Jim Blazina today, 402-980-8400, or jblazina@npdodge.com.
We all have that coworker that runs their mouth off at how great they are. They shot a 5 under par, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, bench press 375, brah. Wouldn't you love to shut them up by schooling them at Joe's Karting? Council Bluffs' premier indoor karting track, professionally designed so each corner is your opportunity to embarrass your coworker. Call Buddy for your next company outing at 712-256-5278. Joe's Karting, white knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue next to AMC 17.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn number 3, and it's time to have another Red Oak Fabrication interview. Powder coating at an affordable price is just down the road at Red Oak Fabrication. Get your chassis powder coated for just $275. That's for a bare frame. You can get reworking done. If there's some sandblasting and stuff that needs to be done like that, could be add a couple of dollars to it. So give Jordan a call today, 712-623-4911, or you can just email him at jordanf@redoakfabrication.com for an estimate. Joining us on the phone now, that's going to be in the 00 Chevy ZL1 Permatex for StarCom Racing. That's Landon Cassill. Landon Cassill, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
We're doing well, and I got to start off this interview by saying the fans that are listening to it are listening to it Sunday morning. We talked on Wednesday afternoon, so unfortunately, we're not going to talk about all the great success you've had, winning your Can-Am Duel and making it up into the front of the row and starting way up for the Daytona 500.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to talk about that at all. I'm just going to talk about this cold weather in Daytona right now.
Oh, man, we're all feeling it. I mean, I think it's nationwide that it's just ridiculous. But what's the weather like down there? Just indulge us a little bit.
It's in the mid-50s, I feel like, at the moment. It was rainy this morning. I had an early morning call for the media day, so I was walking through the rain in my fire suit carrying my helmet to go take pictures.
Well, that's always fun. A wet fire suit has just got to be a terrible thing to deal with.
Yeah, not fun.
Well, we appreciate you calling in and wanted to get the down low on what's going on with you guys this year. I know that StarCom made the official announcement late last year after your Homestead that you were going to be in the 00 for the full ride this year.
Yeah, it's something we had been working on for a few months, and really pleased to get it going. Really appreciative of this crew and all of StarCom Racing and StarCom Fiber, the parent company of the team. And, I think they're really trying to build this team the right way, and they know it's going to take some time. And I think it really shows a lot of their intentions to just take a driver like myself and hire me to put me in the car, they're prepared to fund this thing on their own if they have to. And so, I feel like we're seeking sponsorship the way it's meant to be found. And and they're putting themselves in a position to have the most success for the best interest of their team. And that's something that I can definitely buy into.
A lot of guys will come on the shows and they'll say, we're working towards a big future. We got big plans, but the teams seem to flounder a lot, whether it be a NASCAR team or even a dirt track team here locally. It takes them about 5 or 10 years to get their feet underneath them, but StarCom has really taken off really well, and I think you can attest to a lot of that being a good management and a solid plan.
Yeah, I think that's just because of their commitment to the sport and their ability to say, look, we're willing to race, we're going to make these upgrades, we're going to pay for it, and then we can build the business around that. I think that a lot of teams they kind of put their fate in other people's hands too often by getting kind of stuck with the driver that brought money or stuck with the deals that they wouldn't have taken otherwise because they weren't willing to take the risk themselves. And that's okay for some people and for some situations, but for StarCom, they kind of wanted to control their own destiny, and they said, we want to hire the driver ourselves. We want somebody that we want. We want to seek sponsorship on our own, and that way, when we find a sponsor, that sponsor is dealing with us, and kind of build our company around that. So I got a lot of respect for that.
You've done a good job earning that ride, though, with some really good finishes in 2018. But most of all, you've brought that car back in one piece, which is really critical to a team on a tight race budget.
Yeah, that's definitely step one of a small of a new operation is to bring the car home in one piece. And I feel like that's kind of part of the job as a driver in my position. And so, sometimes I got to race a little differently, but that's part of the deal.
Sounds easy to say, when you're armchair racing like a lot of us do up here, but then you watch the race last Sunday and, probably 90% of that's out of your control when you're racing at a track like Daytona.
Yeah, at super speedways, it's just different. It's just a different story. And, you never can control what can happen to you, but you can control the position you put yourself in. And sometimes you can kind of better your odds by being in a safer spot on the track, so where if there is an accident, you can dodge it.
How's the new aero package fitting for you guys? Are you able to get much of a feel of it? I think you guys were at a test at Las Vegas about a week or two ago.
Yeah, we did go to Vegas. That was huge for our team. I was really pleased that we were able to do that. I think we learned a lot about our car. I think that for a team like ours to go to a preseason test, the guys that we normally compete against were not there, and so that definitely gives us sort of a leg up. And I think that will definitely give us a chance to go to Atlanta a little bit more prepared than we would have otherwise. So a lot of the stuff that we learned in Vegas are just small aero things and getting your ride height where they need to be and your travels and your skirts and all that stuff to where the balance of the car on Friday in Atlanta is close. And I think that we learned a lot of that. So I think the field's going to be a lot closer at these intermediate tracks, at a lot of these intermediate tracks at least. You might see a lot more cars on the lead lap. But at the end of the day, the dominant cars are still going to dominate, and the leader is still going to have an advantage, and the fastest car is going to win the majority of the races because that's motorsports, and it's supposed to be that way.
Did you feel a big difference in the car when you were out there at Vegas compared to last year?
Yeah, there's definitely, you really feel the horsepower difference. You really feel the fact that you're not going 200 at the end of the straightaway, but the corner speeds feel quite similar just because you're carrying so much throttle through the corners.
Yeah. and like at Daytona, they're not really running this package, so it's Daytona as usual.
Exactly. Yeah. Daytona will be Daytona will always be Daytona. That's for sure.
Unloading that car, you guys have had a lot of time to race in it, practice in it, and actually be in competition with all the activities that have been going on at Speed Weeks. How are you feeling with the car, the comfortability behind it as you get into the Daytona 500?
I'm pretty comfortable at this track with all the different packages I've driven. We haven't drafted yet, though, so there will be a little bit of tuning that we need to do on the car, and as the week has gone on, we've just had to kind of learn a little bit as we go because we get less opportunities to draft in practice than we used to. the biggest thing is the Daytona 500. It always just seems to be a much different race on Sunday than the practice sessions or the 150s. It always seems to be hotter. The sun is always out. So the track is always slicker. So I always try to build a little bit of tightness into my balance for Sunday's race.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got a busy season ahead of you, but one of our fans is always asking me this question, so I got to relay it on to you. What are your plans to appear at Hawkeye Downs? I had a feeling you knew that one's coming.
I know. I need to make some plans to get back home and race the Hawkeye Downs. It's been since 2017 since I did. So I always miss my family back there, and tough. I got to find a good car to go drive.
And it's tough to get to do that. I mean, you want to go back and give love to the tracks that you started at, but man, this Cup Series schedule. I mean, you guys got like 2 or 3 weekends off in the entire season.
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, it's a grueling schedule, and we're really busy, but it's quite rewarding when you put it all together. But yeah, everybody at Hawkeye Downs, I'm always thinking of you, and just gotta find a good car to put together and come race, or maybe come drive a Legends car or something like that. That might be fun.
That would be really cool to see that. You did some work with NASCAR America last year. Are we going to see you back on the big screen or on the what do they call it, the small screen again this year?
Maybe, yeah, probably later in the season if we do. They've got the show's changing a little bit this year. They're going to three shows this week with the Dale Jr. Download. I'm taking up some space, so I really enjoyed my time on NASCAR America and working with NBC. So hopefully I'm on the show later on in the season and can do some analyst work. I feel like that's good media training for me.
Well, it's fun stuff too, because you finally get to criticize those that have picked on you at times.
Exactly.
You get to turn the tables just a little bit.
Yep.
You guys made an announcement that Permatex is going to be a big sponsor for you guys. Am I saying that right? Is it Permatex?
Permatex, yeah.
They're going to be a sponsor
Permatex
for you for the 500. Can you talk a little bit about them for us?
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That's cool. They're a very iconic brand for motorsports. One of the original sponsors in NASCAR, and a brand that's been around for many, many, many decades. So it's cool to have an automotive brand in the sport. They make all kinds of gaskets and sealants and products that you would find at any automotive shop or garage. So it's definitely a sharp looking car too. I'm excited to see it. Hopefully we can find it in Victory Lane.
I think it's going to be easy to spot, and like you were just saying, hopefully we spot it in Victory Lane at the end of the 500.
Exactly.
Is that even something you want to even comprehend, or are you just going to get under you in your own head about that?
I don't know. I can't even comprehend it. The what it would take after that race, it would be insanity. So that would be the best problem in the world to deal with. And yeah, you know what? I can comprehend it. I can imagine myself winning the Daytona 500, and everything will just have to handle itself beyond that.
Do you think you'll cry in the post-race interview?
I know I will. 100%. Yep.
I think I would too. I mean, to win that race, It would just be. I mean, it's.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the biggest of the big.
Yep.
All right, man. We've taken enough of your time. Time for you to get back into that simulator and get back to testing, so we can get that car into Victory Lane.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me.
Can't wait to see you at May at Kansas. Best of luck for the 500, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, Landon.
All right. Hey, thanks, buddy.
Once again, that's Landon Cassill, driver of the 00 for StarCom Chevy and the ZL1, sponsored by Permatex today for the Daytona 500. Going to take a short break. We'll be back in turn number 4 to wrap this baby up on the front stretch.
Racers all over the country are discovering the benefits of powder coating their chassis. Powder coating offers a clean, even finish you will be proud to show off to fans and sponsors. Plus, it's a more durable surface. While looking beautiful, powder coating offers superior protection against corrosive chemicals typically spilled during routine maintenance. Bare frames start at $275 with estimates available if blasting or reworking is needed. Get your quote today by emailing Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com or by calling 712-623-4911.
Hey, look at that. You're sitting on your couch playing Halo, Madden, or NASCAR while your friends are at Joe's Karting. Each lap is an adrenaline-filled, heart-pumping, white-knuckle experience that you can only get at the Metro's largest indoor karting track. Eco-friendly Honda engines rip you around the professionally designed road course at breakneck speeds. Can you reach the 14-second lap bracket? There's only one way to find out. Put the controller down and get to Joe's Karting, 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs next to Quaker Steak and Lube.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Welcome back to it. Just about ready to wrap this baby up. Rolling out of turn number 4, about ready to take the checkered flag. Turn 4 brought to you by Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the front stretch. Get over to the Lube today. All the green flag action for the Daytona 500 is going to be on Fox and MRN. Make sure to get over. The party starts at the Daytona 500 viewing party starts at about 12:30. So I'm going to get there at about noon, get everything set up. We've got prizes as always. It's one of our bigger ones because we do cash prizes from Quaker Steak and Lube that you can get involved in. We also do a $100 gift card from Quaker Steak and Lube that you can win by picking the winner of the race. We've got autographed hero cards and race-used lug nuts and all sorts of great stuff. VP Racing Fuel masks that are signed by Ricky Thornton. Cody Ledger tumblers. I'm just trying to think everything that's in our prize vault that you could win today.
Yeah, we've got a couple things.
Just a few.
Our prize box.
And time is running out for you to join the Pick'ems contest presented by Rick Havenridge of Wealth Partners, which is a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. Visit them at truewealthpartners.com, or you can go directly and get advice from Rick. Just go rickhavenridgeadvice.com, rickhavenridgeadvice.com. Thanks to Rick once again. He ponies up and helps us out with the sponsorship of that contest so that we can offer it to you for free. There's 2 different contests that we run. We have the season-long contest, starts today, and you can theoretically join a week or 2 late because you're able to miss a couple of picks in the season and still be eligible. Now, you got to be pretty spot on with your picks in order to point your way into the top 16 because we don't do it by wins anymore. But if you get into the top 16 when we reset the field after Indy, then we do a chase, kind of a chase style or a playoff style where 16 drivers are going to compete for the championship. And speaking of that, today, Barb Blazina, wife of the racing realtor Jim Blazina, is going to be at the Quaker Steak and Lube, and she's going to receive her 2018 Pick'ems Contest trophy. That's really cool. I got pictures of it finally. Rick went down and picked it up from Regal Awards earlier this week, so we'll be unveiling that today, too.
Good.
A lot of great things going on at Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the front stretch. Again, you know, we've talked about it a little bit in turn number 1. Just the way that we do the show, we record it on Thursday. Can you kind of give an idea of who you're thinking about picking today for the contest?
Without seeing the clashes and stuff, I'm still going to probably try and end up with a Ford driver.
Yeah.
Because I did get to watch I did see the clash. I didn't see the duels. Haven't seen the duels yet, but did see the clash. And there were a couple of Ford drivers I thought that looked pretty strong. Brad Keselowski looked strong until he got damaged. Paul Menard looked strong until he got damaged.
Yeah, I thought Paul was really solid out there leading in front and holding on really well.
Yeah, and, he's got a ton of experience. He didn't have a win at a restrictor place. I mean, he's got, 1 win in like 2011 at Indy or something like that. Still a very good win to have on your belt. But he's definitely in a car there with the Wood brothers that can stay out front the whole time. So
you don't think that, we talked a little bit about in turn 1, obviously Ford has their new car, a little bit different of a front end, which will cut through the air differently. That was one of the big reasons why Chevy had so many issues in 2018, or at least that's what they were saying. There was some underlining issues is the reason why they weren't able to get up front, but they struggled to get that Chevy up front through most of the year with a brand new body style or new front nose. Ford's in the same area, but do you think they've done a little bit better figuring that car out before it hit the track today at Daytona in what's been going on this week?
Yeah, I mean, they've had the car for several years in the Xfinity Series, and I think they took a lot of that data when they redesigned because the nose is a little bit different between the Xfinity car and the Cup car. So I think they did their homework before they came in with it.
If you can't hear it, Dirk's a little under the weather. You caught that bug that's been going around.
Oh, I've been bugged for about a week. It got pretty nasty for a couple days, and I'm on the mend. I got drugs, and not enough to share, though. Sorry, folks.
Legal drugs, right?
Legal drugs. Yep.
Probably
drugs.
Shouldn't be for their potency, but they're legal. You can get them over the counter.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll do much else than kick this bug's butt.
You know what's going to help? We're going to get you some triple atomic wings today at Quaker Steak. That'll help clean you out.
No, well, that will clean me out. Just put those on the table in front of me. Just a cent will clean me out.
Maybe we'll get some for Sarah then, our lovely assistant that comes by at these parties and helps us get set up and keeps me organized. She tries. Boy, is that a tough task, huh?
I'm telling you.
A lot of great things going on today. Can't say it enough. Get down to Quaker Steak and Lube, 12:30 to 1 o'clock. That's when everything is going to get kicked off. And the Daytona 500, we will be watching every single lap of it. We'll finish up the race. People can win cash prizes. We'll have, during commercial breaks and red flags, we'll do trivia questions. We'll have NASCAR True False. We'll update some of the new stuff. Like, for instance, what team did Martin Truex Jr. transition to in 2019?
JGR.
Right, yeah. Joe Gibbs Racing. So that's those are just they're real simple questions.
It's going to have a good time. We'll have 4 or 5 cash pools going, so you can get in and maybe win a little money. And
yeah, like what are the two people? If it's a $5 pool, they win
$50.
$50.
You know, be like Tracy Ledger, and he was the only person at the Homestead party. I think we had 5 or 6 pools. He was the only person with the same number in 2 pools, but it just happened to be the winning number. So he took home $100 instead of losing it. So
he did good, and a lot of great people coming down today. We appreciate everybody for joining us. Thank you so much to Buddy Ray for coming in and talking to us about the Joe's Karting Parts Store. Thanks to Landon Cassill for taking time out of his week to sit down and talk with us about his plans for today and the 2019 season. Thanks to Joe's Karting for always supporting the show. Red Oak Fabrication for all their powder coating needs, redoakfabrication.com. Jim Blazina for helping us out with sponsorship, Rick Havenridge, and now Precise Racing Products in their open house.
And if you guys didn't catch it or see it on Facebook, David Starr did sign with Jimmie Means Racing again and is going to drive that. So I'm sure we're going to have him on the show here in a week or 2.
Lori and Bob, who have been down in Daytona, have been running around. She texted me when she found out. She's so excited because they go down to Kansas and over to Iowa every year and help take pictures for David while he's out on the track and kind of do some publicity stuff for him. So she's really excited that she gets to do that again. And her son, their son Curtis, is on the safety crew at Kansas Speedway. So
and Newton, isn't he? Does he do Newton?
Yeah, he does. You're right. Yeah. Yep. He goes over and helps out with Newton, too. So they're very excited. They're great people, and they're down enjoying Daytona. And I have been enjoying every text message I got for them. Enjoying a little bit because while I'm sitting at home during a snowstorm, she's sending me pictures of sunny weather at Daytona. I'm like, wish I was down there.
Yeah, but they're styling their front stretch gear.
So. There you go. All right, get down to Quaker Steak and Lube today for the viewing party. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back next weekend to do it all over again. This has been the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
The official watering hole of the Front Stretch has you covered any day of the week with the best wings, great burgers, and amazing steaks. Each weekday from 4 to 6 is happy hour, featuring $1 off draft and well drinks plus $4 Luberitas. Mondays are kids' night. Tuesdays are all-you-can-eat wings for $12.95, and the lube even delivers to the Council Bluffs area. Like Quaker Steak and Lube Council Bluffs on Facebook for a full list of weekly events.
Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Mid-America Drive, Council Bluffs.
Drivers, start your engines.
The race season is just around the corner, and Hoosier Tire Great Plains Precise Racing Products is helping you save big with their open house February 25th to March 2nd. They've created some exclusive open house specials, like 4x10 sheets of sheet metal for $64.99 each. Schaefer's Racing Oil 15% off, 10% off all Dirt Defenders mud covers. Bassett wheels starting at $59.99. NGK plugs just $15 for 2 boxes. Great savings on racing optics, G-Force helmets and suits, plus doorbuster prizes each day. Be in store or watching on Facebook Live Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. for a chance to win a $100 gift card. Be in store Friday so you can win a free Oakley t-shirt. Or on Saturday for your chance to win fuel jugs, Oakley t-shirts, tires, and so much more. Follow the Hoosier Tire Great Plains Precise Racing Facebook page. Shop online at preciseracing.com or shop in person at the Bennington store. The 2019 Open House. Your chance to save big on your race budget.
This has been the Front Stretch Radio Show, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. To contact Dan or Dirk, find them on Facebook at The Front Stretch or email them at frontstretch590@gmail.com. If you missed any part of today's show or want to hear a previous show, subscribe to the Joe's Karting YouTube page, where you can find almost every Front Stretch show.